Hello, everyone. Good evening or good morning, whenever you're watching this video. My name is Professor Zayed, and I'm recording this lecture video for my big data privacy class. But this lecture is going to be uploaded on YouTube for anyone that would like to watch this video. And I will post more videos in the future regarding this topic and topics related to information technology and management and privacy. So if you would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos, the topic for this video or this lecture is about big data and social media. So I'm going to describe what big data is and how it's related to social media and some of the benefits of big data. So let's start. Big data definition. So what is big data? So if you the big data is basically a term that is describes a large volume of data. So it's big data is a set of data that are so large and complex, which are collected daily from different sources, like social media, for example. A lot of data gets collected from social media like Facebook, Google, YouTube, and other social media sites. Also, big data gets collected from IoT devices, Internet of Things, and other online activities. And if you use internet or intranet and use social media, and you should be concerned about big data, or big data privacy. So a lot of the data is get collected out there. It gets analyzed and gets used by different companies to make profits, to make money. So again, basically, big data is a term that describes a large volume of data and basically describes structured and unstructured data. And we're going to be talking about the difference between the two. Basically, there are three types of data. So, but when people talk about data, they don't realize how much data is growing. We're going to talk about the volume of data. There are articles out there that talks about big data grows so fast that there was an article written on Forbes.com talks about how in 2015, the article was written in 2015. It talks about the data that was collected in the past 2 years at that time basically is more than the data collected at the previous time in history. So a lot of data gets collected, and the data is being created basically from different sources. Social media, for example, data is growing faster than ever before. Again, according to Forbes, there is about 1.7 megabytes of new information will be created every second for every human being on the planet. This is just in 2015. So imagine the data is being collected today. So a lot of data is being collected. There are the three V's of data, something about volume. And basically, volume describes the how organizations collect data from a variety of sources, including business transactions, smart IoT devices, Internet of Things devices, like your webcams and so on and so forth, ring doorbell and security cameras and so on. Your home connected devices and industrial equipment, videos, social media, and more. So in the past, storing this data would have been a problem, right? Especially if you store it locally on local machines, because the storage at that time cost a lot of money. But now it's cheaper storage platforms, and you have a data is being saved on a cloud. So if you basically have a social media account, that data gets saved on a cloud, which is basically in a data center somewhere on a server that belongs to like Amazon or Google or Facebook and so on. So data is now cheaper to save, to store, and a lot of data actually do not get processed. So that's when we talk about structured and unstructured data. When we talk about Apache Hadoop, for example, is a collection of open source software which utilizes and facilitates using a network of mini computers to solve problems, which involves a big amount of data for computations. And that provides a software framework for distributed storage and processing of big data using some different models. So So we talked about one of the V's of big data is volume, and the second V is basically velocity. And with the growth of in the Internet of Things, for example, data streams into businesses at an unprecedented speed and must be handled in a timely manner. So you have some things like RFID tags, sensors, and smart meters are driving the need to deal with these torrents of data in real time. So the other, so the third V, so we have the previous V is velocity, volume, velocity, and then you have variety. And data comes in all types of formats, right? You have recorded data, audio, video, and so on and so forth. So, so data comes in all types of formats, and from structured numeric data in traditional databases to unstructured text, documents, emails, videos, audios, stock ticker data, and financial transactions. So, for example, if you do some kind of the data that's collected on a social media account, some of those structured, some of them unstructured data, but a lot of the data is unstructured. So they have to be analyzed. So some say there are 5 V's of data. So we have talked about volume, velocity, and variety, but there is also veracity, which is the context is equivalent to quality of data. We have all the data, but could we basically be missing something? Is the data accurate, and so on and so forth? So you have to deal with that as well. And then the value of data, this is the 5th V as well, which is basically the ability to transform data into businesses to benefit out of that data. So the importance of big data. So why is big data important, right? So big data is important because basically what can you do with that data? So you can take data from any source and analyze it to find answers that enable you to do a lot of different things. Like for example, you can reduce cost, reduce time reductions, develop new products, and you make smart decisions as well. So there's a lot of benefits of big data. You know, insurance companies, for example, they do benefit from that. So they do analyze data for fraud reductions and so on and so forth. You can take data when you combine big data with high-powered analytics. You can accomplish business-related tasks such as, for example, you can determine root causes of failure, issues and defects in real time, generate coupons at the point of sale based on the customer's buying habits. That's all happens as a result of big data. Okay. Another thing you can do, you can recalculate the entire risk of portfolios in minutes, and you can detect fraudulent behavior. Like I said, insurance companies do prevent fraud. They use this concept of big data to prevent fraud. So so risk and fraud experts, for example, in insurance companies, they use big data to detect fraud. So, for example, there was an famous example about personal injury claim, potentially include fake medical claims or a stage accident. So, insurance company can basically use this to do things like basically analyze how quickly they look for patterns in historical claims and identify similarities and bring up questions in new claims for fraud. So this is actually very helpful. Like I said, insurance companies use that. So companies implement big data analytics platform to basically provide analysis of data and multiple sources. Let's talk about some of the statistics of big data. So again, data is growing at a fast pace. So rapid pace by 2020. This year, the new information generated per second for every human beings would be around 1.7 megabyte of data for every person. and by this year 2020, the accumulated volume of data will increase from 4 zettabytes to roughly 44 zettabytes, or 44 trillion gigabytes. That's a lot of data being gathered. So imagine how you're going to do, what you're going to do with all that data. So it's very important to understand how much data is being collected, what you're going to do with it, and so on. So data scientists originally maintained that the volume of data would double every 2 years, which would be reaching 40 zettabytes of data. The number was later changed to 44 zettabytes when the impact of Internet of Things devices was brought into consideration. So because Internet of Things is basically if you know, all these devices, so physical devices around the world that connected to the internet. So it's, you know, all these devices, they do actually gather data. So that's that and that data has to be stored somewhere. The rate at which the data is created increased exponentially. For example, here you have 40,000 search queries performed every second on Google alone, which makes it 3.46 million searches per day and 1.2 trillion every year. So imagine all that data when you do search on Google. And Google, of course, you know, they have track, they keep, you know, record of what people search on their search engine. So that's the data that's being collected. And on Facebook, for example, every minute users, and they sent roughly 31.25 million messages, and then they watch 2.77 million videos on Facebook. So the data gathered is no more text only. So you have data, like I said, videos, photos, audio, and so on, right? So on YouTube, there are 300 hours of videos are uploaded every minute. So a lot of videos being uploaded, including this video that I'm recording right now, is going to be uploaded on YouTube. So imagine how many people upload videos and how many people watch videos and so on. Okay. Let's talk about some concepts here, like, for example, computer-mediated communication, which basically refers to human communication via computers and includes many different forms of synchronous, asynchronous, or real-time interaction that humans have with each other using computers and other tools to exchange text, images, audio, and video. So, you know, it's very common now. People use, like, for example, Zoom for meetings and so on. So that's a computer-mediated communication. So software allow you to basically platform allow you to share and videos and text and images and so on and so forth. Social networks, technical infrastructure, interactive, increasingly mobile, yet ambiguous and paradoxical in terms of power, control, and emerging social movements. So right now, the technical infrastructure, IT infrastructure, a lot of the people do their IT related stuff, do social media and so on mobile devices, and it's more and more common now. And you know, so social media basically are among the 4 overlapping environments, which also includes traditional media, own media, and hybrid media. So social media, people can now, you know, do journalism through social media and so on, and share their ideas and so on and so forth, share news. Another term that is important for specifically for this class to know is the global internet. You have global firewall, for example. You have China blocked sites such as Facebook and Twitter, host government-sponsored social media services. So social media is widespread, but there are countries that have a little bit of control over social media sites. And the Great Firewall of China is the combination of legislative actions and technologies enforced by People's Republic of China to regulate the internet. And there are differences of opinions on how much control should the governments have over the internet. You have something like hybrid media are among 4 overlapping environments, which also include traditional media, own media, and hybrid media. Diffusion is a concept that talks about the spread of new ideas, and new practices, new processes, and new products, social media, smartphones, IoT, cloud computing, and so on. So a lot of these ideas have been shared through social media and gathered through big data and so on and so forth. A concept called uses and gratifications. It's a research perspective, and it's approach to understanding why and how people actively seek out specific media to satisfy specific needs. Normally people go to different sites on social media, for example, that they agree with, and subscribe to channels that they like and agree with politically, and so on and so forth. Let's talk about sizes of data. So let's describe, for example, let's go down from the bottom up. So when we talk about byte, so it's a group of binary digits. So a bit is either a 0 or 1. A byte is 8 bits. So 1 byte is 8 bits. You have a kilobyte, which is 1,000 byte. So a kilobyte is usually larger than, or 1,024 byte. And a megabyte is 1,024 kilobyte. And a gigabyte is 1,024 megabyte. A terabyte is 1,024 gigabyte, and so on and so forth. So this gives you an idea. So when you hear these terms, petabytes, exabytes, zettabyte, and so on, you should understand these concepts when comparing the sizes of data. So again, we talked about big data. We described what big data is. There are examples of big data, things like some of the examples of big data. You have like monitoring health conditions through data from wearable devices. You have personalized marketing, discovering consumer shopping habits, and so on. So you can use data analytics to boost customer acquisition and retention. You can also use big data for other things like detecting fraud by insurance companies. You can use it to solve advertisers' problems and offer marketing insights. And there's a lot of different things you can do with big data. You can use it for targeted advertisements. So, for example, if you wanted to advertise to on social media, Facebook has a lot of the data about the users of social media. So you can actually tell Facebook, for example, what audience you want to advertise to. So they have all the data, what location, geographical location, and things like that, ages of the people that you want to advertise to, gender, and so on. So it's a lot of benefits to big data. And when we talk about big data, it's a very big topic. We're going to describe more about big data and later on we'll talk about analytics and so on, IP, so intellectual property and so on. So more to come on this topic of big data. So just wanted to describe these the big data, what it is, what things can you do with big data, the benefits of big data, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you will tune in for the next videos to talk about big data, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.